check this out, right? This lady, loud explosion sounds. But let's listen to what this lady was saying.
It's against the law to disrupt a federal law enforcement action. 2,000 have to be deployed. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm not minimizing.
Hold on.
There was no training. We don't know what their rules of engagement are. We don't know by Gavin Newsom, and certainly our reporting from Josh Campbell regarding the concerns even in local law enforcement is now there's this federal overlay that is hostile to the sort of the way it generally works, and there's no training. We don't know what their rules of engagement are. We don't know why.
What she actually saying right there, she's like, yo, it's a federal overlay that's hostile to the way that things are normally done, basically. Well, what is she saying? Let's break that down in the most human way where all of us can understand it, and of course y'all listen to me. Why? Because I have on the tie and you don't, and I got breaking news at the bottom with Bootingham, and I'm bringing you breaking news as it's live and happening, and people getting arrested and things of that nature. Hold on. Now, there's always hostility within the government and states and different things of that nature, right? Like, because we have those two parties, it's Republican and Democrat. Now, when it comes to Trump, right, we know that there are some people who, like, it's like they got ops. Some of y'all understand ops, right? So you got ops, but your ops is in position over here, right? Because you the president. We got 50 states. And these states is broken down into cities that's blue and counties that's red. But you got it. So you got cool people you cool with. And so it's ops and allies all over the place, right? Now, this situation is happening in a spot that's liberal. It's like your ops is there. But the federal government has certain rights. So when the state like, hey, yo, we might not need all that. Calm down. Remember, he talking to his op, and his op like, yo, what? Nah, I don't like what's going on there. I don't feel like you built like that. Yeah. I feel like it's cap in your rap. I feel like you ain't a real ninjaroni. Feel like you soft, like you might need a little help. I don't like all this unrest. I'm with the, we'll spin the block. Matter of fact, I'm going to send the young boys, come spin the block on y'all right now. Watch this, basically.
1,000 have to be deployed. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm not minimizing civil unrest. Violence should not be used. It's against the law to disrupt a federal law enforcement action. But we have tools to do with this that are far less, let's just say, caustic than what Donald Trump has decided to do tonight. And I just want to put that in historical perspective. Some of our viewers will think that's right, but historically, this is not typical. And the numbers, when you just compare this to Hurricane Katrina, those of us who remember Hurricane Katrina, the entire city and court system underwater, you get a sense of why Governor Newsom and local law enforcement are very concerned about what's about to happen.
I know California leaders had said that this will only inflame the situation. When you think of the historic nature of this, that this hasn't happened where there's been that transfer of power to the president from a governor since Katrina, is there any oversight for that situation in the aftermath to be able to look and say, was this done above bar, or was this legal? What's the situation there?
Well, one historical precedent is the LA riots. That was actually cooperative as well. And the after actions that I know very well, this is my space, this intersection between military, homeland, civilian.
And we know right now, it's not going to be too cooperative within the confines of Capitol Hill. That's just not where we at, gang. Y'all know we ain't there.
Monday.com is the
I don't think we should be. I don't think we should be having to pretend that we there.
Thousands of companies are already doing.
It just don't make no sense to me. If you pretending that that's where we at, you might be crazy as hell. You don't know who to believe. We don't know who to believe. And you see like all them people getting arrested once again? Yeah, them George Floyd vibes, man. Because now everybody done kind of moved on from George Floyd. Some of the same people that was in such support of him and going crazy is kind of like, hey, man, you know what? I think that George might have been out. I think that it was just a storm of different events with the lockdown and everything going. It just was like social media. Some people waking up like, hey. And I don't know if y'all heard that lady say, hey, man, it is illegal to kind of stop a, like, federal raid on because you can't do that. Like, you know how people be on trial, like, hey, you can't intimidate a witness. What make you think you can intimidate the police? A government law enforcement agency. Because you don't agree with them picking up people who may or may not be illegally in America. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Is that it was there, but for the grace of God was there not friendly fire. Because, look, our federalized troops are trained to do something, and that something is the use of force. They are not trained to de-escalate a political situation, civil unrest. I mean, the language that's being used by the White House. I'm from LA. I'm looking at people running errands. Like, this is not a city that is not able to function. And so
but keep in mind that she said, yes, they've done it before, in terms cooperatively during riots, and those same
know how they will be deployed,
people
what the rules
that got
of
deployed
are. Are they working
by the federal government?
In conflict with the Los Angeles Police
do none of the
Department?
shit that she said they ain't trained
quite large.
The last couple times.
And 2,000 troops.
But you know what they say
again,
about the new era.
This is a significant number of federalized troops. Again, that number
new
of
era
federalized
troops.
National Guard during Hurricane Katrina.
They don't got as much common sense as the old ones, I guess.
That could not function. Its courts weren't open. Its prisons weren't open. Its police force was not functional.
Perfectly legitimate U.S. soldier YNs. Y'all need to step up and defend yourselves. Like, yo, bro, they trying to say y'all slow like the other YNs. Like the YNs that ain't do. Like the YNs that ain't patriotic.
This is in defiance of a governor's request.
They trying to say y'all slow like the YNs that ain't patriotic, yo.
High likelihood that this will engage in.
All right, come on, son. I don't like this energy.
But my equal concern is without a sort of standard a process by which these 2,000 are deployed, rules of engagement, who are they working with? What's their mission?
Who are they working with?
This is a bunch of protesters, but we know how to deal.
Hey, man, you gotta spin it, you gotta dance with it. Sometimes to get on, you got like, especially if you talking on CNN or something, right? You gotta like, what you mean? Who they work? They came from the federal government. What do you mean? Who they? Fuck you thought hired them? Lex Luthor? She thought Lex Luthor. She thought Lex Luthor hired them people, huh? I mean, come on, man. Hey, yo, you know how they say all controversy sells, and like you gotta get the people in the emotion. You gotta get them feeling like they gotta choose a side. You gotta get them feeling hype. Yo, there is an easier way to deal with all this. Everybody calm down. We gotta figure out a different way. Because obviously the way that motherfucker's going about it ain't working. But hey, why should you listen to me? Because I got the tie on. That's why.
Deal with that, I mean, in civilian society. So without editorializing, I just want to give the comparisons this is unprecedented. The numbers are large. The threat does not seem to be one in which the state has fallen apart, the city has fallen apart. If there are,
you got some people who might say, hey, the moment you interfere with one raid, shit is falling apart. That ain't normal.
Such as an immigration raid, those people ought to be arrested. But this is, I think, part of an overall reaching by the Trump White House to utilize federal military resources in civilian society without an insurrection, without a major flood, without a major crisis, and in defiance of political leadership there. And we'll see what happens overnight.
Hey, y'all.
I am Ann Julia Vargas Jones in Los Angeles.
President Trump sending the Marines to Los Angeles after days of escalating tension and
I want to spin some different narratives.
Raids. Also, people are voicing their outrage right here in the Bay Area.
But we're here today to say we are not afraid. We are fighting back.
And we're following multiple protests around our region and how California leaders are taking legal action against the White House. Plus, it was gone before the judge even had a chance to step in. We'll hear from residents of a homeless encampment at the center of a legal battle in Berkeley.
Yeah, that was abrupt. I mean, you know, with a draconian take.
We believe that it is tantamount to contempt of court.
Hey, y'all.
And saying goodbye to a Bay Area music icon, we'll dive into the life and legacy of Sly Stone and hear from people touched by his influence.
There's American music before Sly.
Yo, hold on, gang. They giving us way too much right here. I'm rolling up, but they was like hitting us. Oh, who that is? Okay, my bad. They start telling they about to go in the WNBA. Somebody just hit a mean bucket, it looked like. However, I was thinking in my head about like really just getting into the shit, right? I think the good part about like reacting and streaming and doing things like that is, man, is like, yo, look, right? We get to like really unpacking and delving deep on a particular topic, you know? Like we get the y'all, I hate these cigars. These shits is like, yo. The worst. Ooh, yo. I want to go. I want to like. I want to talk about like, what if Trump trying to do something? Like, what if Trump trying to do something? You know how people like, yo, I'm trying to do something. Chill out. What if you trying to do something? Chill out. Or you can't do that. Like nah, cause I was thinking to myself like, cause you were here, like, you know, you get the alternative views and shit. You know, it'd be like you get somebody, they'd be like yo, we might need a whole new. We might need to start fresh with this. Oh boy. Cause I think I know what's going on. And I don't want to be on the wrong side of shit that makes sense. If you could kind of understand what I mean. You know how people like, yo, you know how like, and that happens sometimes too, like, and it has happened a lot lately. Part of when we talk about the shit with the George Floyd thing is like, damn, sometimes a person might be you might end up on the side of the shit that didn't make sense at the end of it. And the one thing that I always say is that people be so ashamed or afraid to step up and be like, hey, yo, you know what was crazy? Yo, remember when I was bugging? Yo, I was on the side of some shit that didn't make sense. You don't get that comeback. So a motherfucker never learn a lesson. So like them people that might be getting on that bus that's getting arrested, it might turn so ugly for them They get the message. But you see, of all the people protesting down there, right? You see how many got put on the bus? That's why everybody won't get the effect. Because look how many they put on the bus. They ain't put enough on the bus. You see, sometimes in other countries, they might try to get everybody there. They might really get outrageous. But just those people that got on the bus, they might feel it. Because like I said, I know a story about a dude that got 6 years. He was protesting. Civil arrest. Whatever they charge a person with. They could be making up stories later on. A year down the line or 6 months, them made up stories might seem true.